From deadly deadlines to dangerous silences, history hides in the most ordinary things. This is Miya uncovering the darkest and most fascinating stories from history. We all chase deadline, but do you know where it originated from? Today, a deadline is just a date. If you miss it, you may get a warning. But in 1864, the word meant death. Yes, during the American Civil War, a deadline meant cross this line and you die. Prisoners in camps were surrounded by a literal line. Step over it, even by accident, and gods shot you. No warning, no mercy. However, the word softened over time. By the late 1800s, printers started using the word deadline. It became a technical term for the boundary on a printing press beyond which text would not physically print. And by the 1920s, journalists began using the term metaphorically. If a story wasn't submitted by a specific hour, it was dead for the tradition. Same word, but thankfully much safer consequences. Have you ever, as a toddler, struggled to figure out which shoe is left and which is right? Back in the 17th to 19th century, shoes weren't designed like today. They were straight shoes, identical for left and right feet. No curves, no shaping. People just wore them whichever way felt comfortable. Imagine toddlers today trying to put on their sandals. The confusion is real. But for adults back then, it didn't matter at all. Shoes were made for practicality, not perfection. The next story is even more surprising. Today, when you visit someone, you just ring the bell or knock. But do you know the strange story behind it? In ancient Greece, wealthy homes often had slaves stationed right at the door, and sometimes even chained in place. If they were awake, they would greet you, but if they dozed off, visitors had to strike a heavy metal ring to get attention. The Romans then carried this door ring to everywhere. Over time, the simple ring evolved into the fancy door knockers. Then came the electric doorbells, letting a simple press alert everyone inside. And today, a knock or a tap on a smart doorbell does it all in an instant. So the next time you ring a bell, remember, you're using a system with thousands of years of history behind it. Wait, it gets stranger. Imagine wearing a color and getting arrested for it. Sounds strange, right? But that's exactly what purple once meant. In ancient times, purple dye was incredibly rare and hardest to extract. It was made by crushing thousands of tiny sea snails just to produce a very small amount. That made it more valuable than gold. And only royalty were allowed to wear it. So if you saw someone dressed in deep purple back then, you weren't just looking at fashion, you were looking at power.
Guards, block their approach. None shall pass. But we must be heard.
But here's the weirdest one. A time when voices were crimes. Can you believe there was a time when certain people, especially women, were not allowed to talk? During the 16th and 17th centuries, in Scotland and in England, people, often women, accused of quarreling, gossiping, or just arguing, were punished with something called scold's bridle. It is often a metal plate which is inserted into the mouth from an iron framework that covered the head like a cage. In many cases, this plate was sharpened, which means making any attempt to speak could cause extreme pain or severe injury. A device designed not just to silence voices, but to enforce fear and control. Now imagine this. Someone sneezes and you instantly say bless you. But have you ever wondered why? Centuries ago, people believed sneezing could let your soul escape or invite illness into your body. But that's not it. The most common explanation goes all the way back to around 600 AD, during the time of Pope Gregory the Great. During a deadly outbreak of the bubonic plague in Rome, sneezing was considered an early fatal symptom. So the Pope reportedly asked people to say God bless you when someone is sneezing to protect them from dying. A simple phrase today, born from fear of death centuries ago. Now the last one is more interesting one. Before alarm clocks existed, people were the alarm clocks. Yes, they were called knocker-uppers. Their job? Walk around early in the morning and tap on windows until people woke up. Yes, you literally paid someone to wake you up. But even before that, there were water-based alarm systems. As water slowly filled a container, it would lift a mechanism that rang a bell at the right time. No batteries, no electricity, just water and clever thinking. Some alarms run on water and some on people. So next time you see a snail, a shoe, or even a clock, remember there is a story behind it that is stranger than fiction. That's all I got for today, and do let me know which story surprised you in the comments. Thank you for watching.